Hello YouTube, welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Going to do Shrine of Amana despite me saying otherwise in the previous episode. I was going to do Doors of Pharos, but nah, just wanted to keep going in a linear progression.
Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?
So we're going to talk to Shalquar.
Have you lost your way?
This is like an exposition dump.
I believe you're in search of the king.
And we'll get lots of lore tidbits here.
He's keeping company with the dead.
So, a hint about Vendrick's current location. I know you can buy these flying boots.
People try to round up the undead and hide them away from
Lost
the world.
Bastille. So this is one of the attempts to deal with the curse.
Imprisoning the undead would stop. They created a towering Bastille to contain them.
And I think the Bastille was used to
The lost sinner lives
extract
in the
prisoners
Bastille.
for experimentation
The fool.
in a certain manner
Like the first
in
flame.
Drang Lake. And then we get the Lost Sinner, the First Flame,
We cats
back to
are
Dark Souls
more
1,
beautiful
and the Witch of Izalith.
Here you are, my friend. You can have these, eh? It's a little bonus, you know, for your big purchase.
So
Oh, come on. Don't look so glum.
So this scimitar that he's given us as a present, it's it's got lots of jewels on it, and that's maybe a hint to some of Gilligan's nefarious deeds in the past. The Gurm Great Shield, just have a look at the icon. The actual appearance of the Great Shield I think, mirrors something that we see at the very end of the game. And other people have noticed this as well, but some people just think it's a coincidence, and perhaps it is. Perhaps it is. The good thing about the Great Shield is this one, you get 100% fire block. So if you're having problems with somebody like...
Life is a journey, and every journey eventually leads to home.
I think that's potentially a very profound... That statement has very profound ramifications for what occurs at the end of the game as well. In Dark Souls 2. So this is a Shrine of Amana. Beautiful, aesthetically a beautiful level. In terms of level design, in terms of enemies, it's not so beautiful, it's more like annoying, quite an irritating level. Just for one or two reasons, but ultimately it's a memorable area, that's the best thing to say about it. So, hitting that branch will get you a Twinkling Titanite once you come down here, and as you go further along that path you'll get the Wilted Dusk Herb and the Skeptic Spice. So you can see we've come down to the bottom from where the bonfire was, we've come down the stairs, come back here and pick this soul item up, and you can see that there's like fireflies hovering in the water. And that's the reason. So wait a minute, we're going to get attacked by a Lindell cleric here. I'll talk more about Lindell clerics later. Just take him out for the moment. And they're fast. That's, just take them out. That's all I need to say about them just now. But yeah, these are lizard men, or Amana aberrations as they're also known. And you can see that there's fireflies hovering above them. And these fireflies actually interact with the enemy and actually placate it and calm it and soothe it. And the fireflies have a connection to that song that we can hear being sung in the background. And that song is an important facet of the Shrine of Amana. It's actually a homage, or it's reference basically to Dark Souls 1, the Nameless theme. The Nameless theme song, the theme song of Dark Souls 1. I'll put a link in the description where you can go and you can listen to both the mashup version, this one and the Dark Souls one. You can see that they harmonise and link up well with one another. Anyway, we're going to go and pick this item up that we knocked off the branch from above, and it's a twinkling titanite and something else. The reason why you can see the Chloranthy ring effect, you can see the green shimmering, is because I had to turn off, you know, normally I block that, I use a mod to block it, but I had to turn that mod off temporarily because if I didn't, you wouldn't be able to see the fireflies hovering above the water, and I thought that was important that you're able to see that. So yeah, so there's a... This is round the side of the first building that we come to as we come down the stairs. So this is the right hand side if you were coming from where we came from, and there's a chest there as you can see and one of those curse pots, so just be careful. And inside here we've got a Milfinito. Let's talk to her.
We knew you were coming. And stop singing. We are Milfinito. We are here to sing to those bound by death and dark.
So the Milfinito have a direct connection with Gravelord Nito.
As we always have, from long, long ago. We know nothing of the world.
And this is a strange comment. I wonder if they mean the world outside of Drown Lake.
For we will never leave.
Rather than referring to Drown Lake and outside of the Shrine of Amana.
But what is a king, after all? We know nothing of the world
And
outside.
that statement,
For we will never leave here.
there's evidence against that statement that we'll encounter later on in the game.
The little ones dance. The little ones grant comfort.
And she's talking about the fireflies here, I'm sure of it.
This is what we were taught.
So somebody passed this knowledge on to them.
Is there anything wrong?
And
Perhaps this will help. This is all that we can do.
one of the interesting things is in the beginning of Dark Souls 2 with the opening cinematic, when we enter we cross the lock or the pond or whatever it is, and we see we open the gates to like this derelict and ruined castle, and then we let me talk about this first actually. There's 3 Lindell clerics up there. Don't engage them all at once. Engaging Lindell clerics en masse is akin to suicide. They stun lock you with their polearm, and they can move through water unburdened. So unlike us, where we've got to, we move slowly through water, they can move through water rapidly. So, and they stun lock you very easily. And later on, they can actually be healed by a caster that surrounds them. So you just want to basically pull one at a time and deal with them on a one-to-one basis. They're susceptible to strike damage. When I use the giant club or the large club, like even +7, it usually can one-shot them. They have a chance to drop Twinkling Titanite and Old Radiant Life Gems. They also have a chance to drop their shield, which is the Dragon Crest Shield, I think it's. Dragon Crest Shield, is it? No, just Dragon Shield. Slumbering Dragon Shield, sorry. And that's a brilliant shield. I use that in all my builds because it increases your stamina regen. So what I normally do is, it's not good for blocking, but normally what I do is I have 2 shields, that one and like my main shield on my bar, and I use one like if I'm taking on bosses that you're going to be ducking and diving around. Just put the Slumbering Dragon Shield on to get your stamina regen high, and it does make an appreciable difference in my opinion. So you want to try and get that drop at some point or another before you leave the Shrine of Amana. Yeah, so as I was saying at the beginning, we go through the castle. We go through this derelict castle's gates, and we interrupt the fireflies, or we startle them, or we get them going, and you can see them lighting up, and they make their way off the tree. And it's interesting that once they're off the tree, the dark spirits start to, fly around and open the portal. you know, we see a portal opening up in the actual river or loch or whatever it is. In the body of water, basically, we see this portal opening. And like the Milfinito says, the little ones, like, they like soothe those that are afflicted by the dark and death and whatnot, like these lizard men. So I wonder if the fact that in the opening cinematic, the fact that the fireflies flew off, you know, caused the dark spirits or whatever they are to be, like, you know, woken from their slumber, and for the portal to open. And the portal obviously brought us to things betwixt. So this is a kind of in-between area. We've done the first part of the Shrine of Amana. It's split into like 3 main areas. We've done the first area. This is like a prelude to the next area. And the next area is the most difficult part of Shrine of Amana. And the reason why is because you've got these Amana maidens. You can see one in the distance up there, kind of at the 11 o'clock position, 11 PM. There you go. Now she's going to start casting. And what happens is that from distance they cast Home and Soul Arrow, and it is a pain in the ass. It moves at just the right speed, and they aggro from just far away enough to overwhelm you, and to put you off your stride, making it difficult to snipe them from distance, or to use sorceries or spells or anything like that to get them. I was lucky I didn't go over the edge there. Be careful, there's like an edge in the water as well, and you can make it out if you look down, but she's standing very close to the edge, so it's not very wise to dive around that particular enemy there. Off to the left is the bonfire, so we'll go and rest at the bonfire just now, just in case we die. And watch out, there's one of these lizard men waiting to ambush you. Again, we've got the same issue here at this bonfire as we did at the Salt Fort in the Lost Bastille, where we've got enemies that are surround the bonfire, which isn't particularly... That wasn't... Obviously the hit didn't get detected there, but... Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to say it's unfair, but it's a bit annoying, especially considering the fact we're surrounded by those Amana maidens. So I've taken this one out and I've come back up here. This is the first one that we encountered. And if you come back over to this direction once you've sat at the bonfire, you'll get access to one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It's not a weapon I use, to be honest, but I know you can actually go up there. If you jump, you can go up that column. I know from reading here and there that dual wielding this particular weapon and power stance in it, with the old Leo ring that you get from killing the old Dragon Slayer in Hades Tower of Flame, it makes it one of the most dangerous and most powerful weapon combinations in the game. And it's called the Helix Halberd. And I think the item description is possibly talking about either Lord Gwyn or Sif the Scaleless. So that's it. Complex design, some would say excessively so, that hides a spear within its handle. Why did I think it would talk to it? I'm not sure why I thought that about Gwyn or Sif. But anyway, yeah, it's a powerful weapon. And I like the mechanism at the front of it. In the previous episode, I just want to say something about the Looking Glass Knight. In the previous episode, I mentioned that the Looking Glass Knight, because of the rain, was weak to lightning. Now I'm confused because I read somewhere else that he's resistant to lightning. So I don't know either way actually. If I'm wrong about that, I apologise. It seems like an equivocal issue that's not been resolved one way or the other, as far as I can tell from reading up on the internet. Another thing to note about that particular area is you've got the see the stone knights, the ones that the eyes light up, the stone statues that come to life as you make your way down King's Passage. If you look carefully, you'll see that there's a number of stone statues whose heads are missing. And I don't think that's a coincidence or just by chance or whatever. Their heads are missing because to stop them basically from animating. That's what you do with golems. You take off their head, or you take off where their instructions are written, which is typically in the neck area or the head area in golems, to kill them, to stop them from coming to life and attacking you. And I think that's what's happened with the Stone Knights. Another thing to note about that area is once you've defeated the Looking Glass Knight, there's a mural at the end where the lift is. If you look at that mural, you'll see 2 twin dragons and 2 twin serpents, and that's probably a shout out to Frampton Cath from Dark Souls 1. Okay, so back to Shrine of Amana. Yeah, this is one of the most annoying parts of Shrine of Amana. You've got that caster over there, that Shrine Maiden, or Amana Maiden, or whatever she's called. Amana Shrine Maiden, that's it. And what I suggest is, if you've still got the Dragon Rider's Soul, or if you've got the Hunter's Blackbow, I would recommend upgrading the Hunter's Blackbow to +10, or at least +8, let's say, or going to Strayed of Laphis in the Lost Bastille. His bonfire is called Strayed Cell, and giving him the Dragon Rider Soul in exchange for the Dragon Rider Bow. And the Dragon Rider Bow is excellent. It does a lot of damage when it's fully upgraded. It can one-shot a lot of things in New Game. Big drawback is that it uses a lot of stamina up with each drawback of the bow, probably like half your stamina. And also it's a slow bow. It doesn't move quickly, and its range isn't particularly good, but it does a lot of damage. And down here against these Amana Maidens, with I think lightning arrows or magic arrows, it does a lot of damage. Okay, so we're around the opposite side of where we just killed those lizard men, and there's a ogre around here, so just be careful. So that's one of the problems of dealing with that other Amana Maiden. If you run over to get her, you have to deal with this ogre most of the time as well. And I wouldn't advise doing what I'm doing, which is fighting him in the water. I would advise taking him off to that wee stretch of ground up there next to the room. Be careful, there's a lizard man up there as well, so you might have to deal with that, the Amana Maiden and the ogre all at once. So you want to definitely take out at least 2 out of the 3 before you actually have to take the ogre on. And fight him up there because it's easier for you to move through the water. Actually, do you know what I recommend? Using poison knives or poison arrows and just taking him out from distance. Or if you've got the Dragon Rider Bow or the Hunter's Black Bow, take him out from distance using one of those means. The Hunter's Black Bow is actually probably a better idea in the Shrine of Amana because it's much faster at drawing back the arrow, and it uses up a lot less stamina, and it's got massive range as well, 65 units of range. So after you've taken the ogre out, if you go down here, there's an Estus Flask Shard, and there's also Sunlight Blade if you're interested in using that in your weapons. Sunlight Blade adds lightning damage, I believe, to your weapon, and it's a lot of lightning damage, I believe. Watch out, there's a lizard man here, and you've got 2 of these maidens to deal with. This is quite an annoying wee part here. And watch out, over to the right you can fall off. You can only go in one direction at this pillar here, you can only go left. Yeah, only left. So yeah, I had to come back here. I think I went away to do a couple other things as well in between then. And I'm wearing the Jester's hat, I think, to get... I was trying to pick something up, I can't remember what now. But you know the Jester's hat increases your... It raises your item discovery, so... So just be careful with this one, because like I say, you can fall off the right quite easily. And roll forward rather than rolling left or right if you have to rope. Yeah, visually it's a very striking area, the Shrine of Amana, with the kind of bird's nest, upside down bird nest if you look up over your head, and obviously the water and the luminescent flowers and whatnot. So this is Sunlight Blade. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm not going to show you me going all the way back, but I'm going to go back to where the ogre and where the annoying, really annoying Amana Maiden was. And this is that other Amana Maiden that we took out, the one that we kind of sneaked up behind when I was talking about King's Passage and whatnot. And that area over there where I'm pointing to, you want to come back here later on in the game, because one of the best armour sets is available down there. You have to be in human form, and you have to have killed a certain boss before you can go back there and pick that armour up. But you definitely want to come back here to pick that armour, because it's excellent, and it's the one I usually wear just now. So you can summon, what's her name? Lycia, not Lycia, whatever her name is, something the Brave. Lucille? No, not Lucille. I can't remember. Anyway, you can summon an NPC to help you with the boss, the end area boss here. You can also summon her to help you with these annoying casters. So take out these two. There's an item over to the right that we want to pick up, but we'll need to take those two casters out first. And also, if we go down to the right over here, you can see that there's under the water, there's something hiding under the water. Well, there's one of these lizard men for starters, but the things that you can see kind of poking up through the surface of the water are actually curse pots. And there's like about 6 of them over there under the water. But over there there's a pyromancy, fire tempest. So we picked up the other one in Dragonlight Castle. I can't remember what it's called now, fire something or other, not fire tempest. But this is the upgraded version of that spell. Or pyromancy, sorry. And yeah, it's basically like, you know, pillars of flame erupt out the ground once you cast it. And it's very good for dealing with bosses and whatnot. I don't believe in blocking the homing soul arrow or whatever it is. Yes, you can block it. The Rebel's Great Shield, I think, has quite a high magic resistance, and we picked it up earlier in the game. I think we picked it up in the gutter. But yeah, I would recommend using. I would recommend just sniping them from distance or getting close to them and taking them out with melee up close. And yeah, one of the good things is once you're on target, you know, once you've got your aim on target, you can actually kind of dive left and right, and you know, it'll keep the reticuli on the target. So there's an item to pick up round there as well. I think it was a life gem. So it's just round there where I was standing a second ago. And up there is the most annoying part of the Shrine of Amana. You've got 2 casters, 2 maidens, and a third maiden that's standing beside the Lindelt clerics. And the Lindelt, that third maiden actually doesn't cast anything, she just heals the clerics. But take out the 2 casters first, rather than the clerics. Don't aggro the clerics just yet. Take out the 2 casters, the one to the left and the one in front of the clerics, The one in front of Clerics can be a bit more difficult to see because she's like lower down in the water. And just be careful as well, off to the right here is a Lizard Man. And be careful as well, there's like a drop off point there where you'll just drop into the water and die. And off here to the left, so just behind where I was standing there taking out the Lizard Man, we've got this area over here. And there's a good ring over here. In my opinion, it is worth coming over here to pick this up. You'll have to deal with an ogre. I would recommend using poison arrows or poison throwing knives or whatever. And a lot of the creatures here in the Shrine of Amana, their origin maybe is from the same place. Maybe they were created in the same place, which is this manor that's been hinted at in Dragon Lake Castle with some of the item descriptions we picked up, where experiments were taking place. I was a bit lucky there actually. But yeah, that's something that we'll find out more about later on. Okay, so further on down here we've got the life ring +2. And the life ring +2 adds, I think it's 12.5%. It gives you 12.5% extra life. And in my case that equates to I think 200 points of health. The Singer's Dress. The interesting thing is that the Amana maidens, the ones that are casting the home and soul arrow at you, yeah, 200 points of health for the life ring +2, and it actually helps in certain locations. Especially, I definitely found it helpful against a couple of enemies, especially the 2 tough bosses that I mentioned in Dragon Lake Castle. Yeah, the Amana maidens that cast at you. They had a responsibility down here to keep the Demon of Song imprisoned down here. So yeah, just like I said before, be careful when dealing with more than one of these Lindell Clerics, because they can stun you to death, stun lock you very easily, and just, combo you to death. And we picked up the Slumbering Dragon Shield. Like I say, it increases your stamina regen, and it really is useful, especially in boss fights where you're just going to be diving instead of blocking. And yep. So I think I put the effect back on for the Cloranthy ring to get rid of the annoying green hue that hangs over your character. Off to the left before the fog gate, you can pick up these alluring skulls if you want them. And just off to the right of the fog gate is a Soul of a Hero, but be careful. It's on like a very precarious ledge. So just be careful and don't do what I did, which is walk off to the right. I seen that item over there and I thought I could get to it, but nope. You can get to that item, but you have to come from another way. So you'll get it once you go through the fog gate. And through this fog gate is some of the most annoying creatures, and I've said that word so many times in this episode, annoying. But yeah, these guys really are a nuisance, because they emit acid. They have this acid attack. It's like a cloud of acid, and it degrades your gear very, very quickly. If you've got the 2nd or 3rd dragon ring on. And that reminds me actually, now that you've defeated a certain boss, I can't remember which one now, you can go back and speak to Tark back in the Shaded Ruins, and he will give you the 2nd dragon ring. Thanks for watching, see you in the next episode.